Shares of First Republic losing about half of their value just in yesterday's session, hitting an all-time low. The company reporting a massive drop in deposits, much more than the street had been expecting, and it now faces a critical few days. CNBC.com's banking reporter Hugh Son joins us right now to talk about how this saga plays out. And Hugh, you've got some new reporting in a story that you just published that suggests the banks, or that the First Republic is going to other banks and saying, help us or else.
Well, Becky, it's good to be with you. Good morning. So that is certainly the plan. So my understanding from bankers who are working on this situation is that, and this really piggybacks off of our David Faber's reporting from yesterday, as you recall, which is that the banks were going to be asked to basically purchase bonds for more than they're currently worth. And so the pitch to these institutions, and these are the institutions that have already put in $30 billion in deposits into First Republic to prop it up last month, is that essentially, if you don't do this, if you don't essentially take a hit to the tune of several $1 billion, this thing is going to go under. And if it does, the FDIC receivership costs that are going to be assessed on the big banks predominantly will actually be far greater, will be in the ballpark of $30 billion. So help us now or pay more later is going to be the pitch, Becky.
So either pay more than you should for these lousy loans, or we're just going to take the whole thing down. I mean, that's crazy. What does the government say about any of this? How are they involved? Are they pushing both sides?
Yeah. So my understanding from the advisors is they're going to need the government. They're going to need the either the Fed, the FDIC, or the White House to apply pressure to the banks. Predominantly just to get them to get together. So there's really a sense of, the advisors are creating a sense of urgency. Obviously the stock is in free fall. That doesn't really help matters. But really the sense is, from the banker side, there's a window to fix this situation with First Republic, which, as we know, has been treated as sort of the firewall. If they can stand First Republic up, then the contagion is effectively contained. If not, then there are some questions there. So, certainly that's going to be the approach, and they're relying on the government to basically help them, and get them together and get them in a room and try to coerce them to do this.
I mean, you just look at it, the banks at large probably would like to see some additional pain. This stock is already down 93%, but you're not coming to the rescue of the shareholders. You're probably interested in making sure the bank doesn't fail because you don't want it to go away entirely and create other potential problems on top of just the FDIC fees. But you also don't want these managers who got themselves in this position to come and say, save us and our shares along the way and our shareholders.
So I spoke to several, not all of the big banks that would be impacted by this. Some of them had not heard about this plan, so it hadn't reached them yet. Others had through, via David's great reporting yesterday, and they were reluctant. Clearly, if they overpay for a series of treasuries, munis, or mortgage loans from First Republic, if they overpay for those bonds, they have to recognize that hit right away. And that's not something that they're looking forward to. And secondarily, there is a lingering distrust of government broker deals. Because as you recall from 2008, they did a bunch of those M&A deals and it ended up costing them a lot more than they
money than they had originally anticipated. Very quickly, why the treasuries? Why is that part of this? I mean, I understand the mortgages, I understand munis, but isn't the Fed kind of opening its window and saying that they will take all treasuries at face value?
Well, I think the issue is, this is part of the balance sheet of First Republic. It's domiciled there. If they pull it out, they have to recognize the losses. So, this is just, that's sort of the stew of the bonds that they have. Essentially, the bet that interest rates wouldn't fall, that First Republic managers made, wouldn't rise, and, that bet clearly blew up on them.
Hugh, thank you. Hugh Son.